Hello, my name is Paul Shackleton, and this is episode 0 of Walk on the Woo Side. I wanted to introduce my podcast. I have actually already recorded the first 7 episodes, but I wanted to introduce my teachers and my martial arts background, hopefully clips that I feel maybe exemplify what Woo is, and talk about my aims for the podcast. First came across the concept of Woo on a Facebook group called the Fajin Project. The term has been used in a sort of derogatory manner to describe Fajin demonstrations by people such as HuangXingXian, Adam Mizner. We also noticed that the use of certain Chinese terms such as qi, Fajin, seem to sort of provoke quite fierce debate within sort of the online Tai Chi community. So some of the themes that I want to investigate are sort of the use of Chinese terminology in Tai Chi. Perhaps I am of the feeling that sometimes Chinese language is used and misused in a way to make the art seem more mysterious and magical, and maybe not in a way to let students know about the biomechanics of what's really going on. So as a sort of a Chinese speaker with an interest in linguistics, I've asked a lot of guests what they think of qi, which Chinese terms they think are useful. I've also asked people about how they define the internal martial arts, what constitutes an internal practice. Again, for me, maybe there is a bit of marketing in the term. If there is external physical movement, then the art's not purely internal. So perhaps standing postures, seated meditation, mindfulness practice could be considered completely internal. All other arts do, if they have physical movements, then maybe I think they're not completely internal. But again, there are quite fierce debates and disagreements over exactly what constitutes an internal martial art. So I'm quite keen to explore that. Occasionally I get asked about my lineage and my internal martial arts teachers. I don't really like answering the questions. So I've sort of had sort of 6 main teachers, who most of whom aren't that famous. So I guess I first sort of got into internal martial arts after seeing Bruce Francis Burke, Power of the Internal Martial Arts, where he sort of talks about traveling around Southeast Asia in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and seeing lots of sort of famous masters. I think I then sort of got another book with sort of some Yichuan standing postures. At this point, I think I was very much motivated by the health and longevity benefits of the internal martial arts. So my first teacher was called Sean Barks. So Sean taught the Yang form of Tai Chi. He'd studied under Tony Henry, who was from the Fuzhong Wen lineage. He also studied with Willie Lim, who was from the Huang style lineage. Sean also taught a lot of Qigong. My second teacher was Paul Cavell. He's one of Bruce Francis's senior students. He mainly taught the Wu style Tai Chi, Neigong, and Baguazhang. Then after that, I went to China. Started living in China. It took me a while to find a good teacher in China. But after I'd learned a bit of Chinese, the first good teacher I found was Zhou Jingshuan. With Zhou, I studied a little bit more Yang style Tai Chi, but mainly I studied the Hebei branch of Xingyichuan. Xingyichuan is sort of a bit like Tai Chi, but maybe with more strikes. After that, I moved to a different city in China. In Hong Kong, I studied with Cheng Pai Boon. I did sort of more Yang style with him. In Shenzhen, I studied with Wang Hongjun. He mainly sort of did Xingyi and Bagua and a sort of combination style, a fearsome guy. And then after I arrived in Australia, I met Jackie Pei. Pei Fei is his Chinese name. He's does the Zhonghe Dao lineage from sort of Tan Kok Li in Kuala Lumpur. It's mainly sort of Zen-based meditation, standing meditation, and push hands is their system, sort of very meditative take on push hands. So they're my main teachers. I only count people who I've spent, more than 100 hours with in, a few years. There are many other people who I've sort of seen very briefly, or maybe I've, been to a weekend course or something like that. So there are lots of other people who I've sort of missed out, but they're the main influences on my practice. At the moment, I mainly just practice the Yang style long form, maybe the Yang Cheng Fu long form, and Hebei style Xin Yi Chuan. I occasionally do a bit of Qigong and Bagua. I also do lots of mindfulness meditation, and a standing practice is a big part of my my practice at the moment. And I did also want to talk briefly about the first 7 guests. You may not have heard of all of them. Joey Nishad, the first one, is maybe the most woo person I know. Joey did study with Adam Mizner. Adam Mizner's teacher, Mark Rasmus. So he's not formally a student of Adam, but he is sort of a close friend. Maybe sees Adam as sort of a mentor. So Joey did use a lot of bad language, and he did sort of insist that I play the interview in full. So I have played all interviews sort of unedited, and Joey did sort of there was some mature themes in Joey's, but some interesting discussions as well. Sort of guest 2 was Alan MaYueLiang. He's sort of maybe a critic of Adam Mizner. He sort of has an open challenge to the Heaven Man Earth organization for them to demonstrate their skills on him. Matt Stamp was episode 3. Again, he's sort of definitely a woo skeptic, and sort of quite a harsh online critic of again, especially of Adam Mizner. I didn't quite realize how nasty some of those criticisms have been of maybe of Joey and Adam. And also Mike Graves was episode number 4. He's sort of a push hands champion. Episode 5 was Guannan Wang. He's has some sort of direct experience of sort of a very woo lineage, the Sheming lineage. I'm a big fan of his podcast, and I was sort of quite keen. I'd heard him talking about that lineage, and I was quite keen to get his thoughts on sort of the no touch Fajin demonstrations. After that, I spoke to Alan Orr, famous Wing Chun practitioner. That's the episode actually with the most views so far. And finally, Jason Eaton was my most recent interviewee. Again, maybe he could be considered quite woo. He's a student of Alex Dong, but he's definitely sort of a believer in qi and the use of Chinese terminology. Just turn the music down. Copyright protected music. So here we have Master HuangXingXian. He was a student of Chen Manqing. I think probably in Taiwan, maybe in the 50s. He was mainly active teaching in Malaysia and Singapore in the 70s and 80s. I think he's with Wiki Jin in this clip. And he's made lots of other clips of him sort of with sort of seemingly magical sort of push hands powers. quite a controversial figure in some ways. And next up, we have MaYueLiang. I think this footage is taken in Shanghai, maybe in the late 80s, possibly early 90s, but I think late 80s most likely. He's from the Wu style. He was sort of a Manchu. I think he was over 90 years old in this clip. I think these were sort of monthly meetings in People's Park in Shanghai. Not just his own students. I think it was sort of all comers sort of got a chance to play with him, I think, at those meetups. Next up, we have Vicktor XiaoWeiJia. I think this footage was maybe late 90s, early 2000s from Beijing. He was sort of half Chinese, half European, and spoke fluent Russian. So I think these students are Russian students. Not that much available about him in English. In episode 5, Guannan speaks about this lineage, the Sheming lineage. Interestingly, Guannan, all of the other students could be got with the no touch stuff. Ling Kong Jin, I think, was the term used for it. Guannan said this stuff didn't work on him, but it worked on most of the other students. Next up, we have Adam Mizner and Joey Nishad. Joey is episode 1 on my podcast. I'm good friends with Joey. Obviously, Joey's a huge guy. And I did ask Joey sort of about these clips. So I couldn't really see how Adam was having this effect on Joey. And I think the explanation that Joey came up with was that Adam was hacking his system of balance. And this is how Adam was able to elicit this response. Again, a controversial figure, lots of criticisms of Adam. So for some, those clips would be genuine masters using their chi powers. For others, they would be considered charlatans. Maybe I fall somewhere in the middle. I think that all 4 of those individuals had some genuine skill. I don't really think those kind of videos were good luck for Tai Chi Chuan. I guess there are various explanations. There might be some conditioning of students. Guannan suggested that within the Sheming lineage, there might be some hypnosis going on. He certainly wasn't of the opinion that those kind of skills could be used in sort of a genuine self-defense encounter. I think also marketing is a big part of those videos. Clearly, when the cameras are on, the students want to make their teacher look good. Often the students have been with that teacher for a long time and maybe been gradually conditioned to react in certain ways. And I think when we see those same individuals pushing with other skilled players, the magic disappears and it's just 2 regular guys pushing hands. Yeah, that's my take on those kind of fadjin videos. We can't always make blanket generalizations about all schools. And finally, I'd like to add that I have no vendettas against any particular teachers or lineages. I don't have any anti-Wu agenda. I have in fact sort of invited sort of equal numbers of woo skeptics to sort of chi files, I guess. So in the future, I'm hoping to branch out a little bit in terms of the topics covered and the guests. I'm not really motivated by growing my channel and getting lots of views. I'm mainly hoping to have interesting conversations that will add insights to my practice. So if you feel like you have something useful to add to the discussion, please do reach out for me. And hopefully I will have some new episodes coming up within the next few weeks. I'm looking to be talking about push hands, different approaches to push hands. I'm also hoping maybe to have a bit more on meditation as well and standing practices. Yeah, I should have some new content for you soon. So thanks for watching and take care.